What's up, y'all? We're back, except now we're talking NFL football. AJ Forbes, Noah Ambuel, and Dalton Lee coming at you this week on another episode of Boys Talkin Ball. First thing on the agenda today is the fact that there were multiple upsets and surprises during the NFL this week. Kicking it off, we're going to talk about how the Lions lost to the Bucks this week. Noah,
The
give me your
Bucks.
thoughts.
Oh,
Oh, no, Dalton, go for it. Nope, you get it. You got it.
Bucks are very good and they deserve their recognition.
I 100% agree. They have the guy at the helm, and I think in Baker, obviously, but I also think nobody credited enough how much their GM kept everybody together. I mean, they still have a lot of the same guys that were there when Brady won the Super Bowl with them. Like, they still have a lot of guys from that deep playoff run and the playoff run after where they kept that core all together. And I don't think people in the offseason gave it enough credit because there was talks Mike Evans might leave. There was talk like all these guys might leave, and they end up keeping everybody and basically just saying we're going to run this thing back after that loss to Detroit in was it the divisional round?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean they just kept all their pieces, and I think they all agreed we're just going to give this one more ride, and it's basically the same team, and they look damn good.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They look great. They can so easily win that division. I don't care what people are saying about the Falcons. They won it last year. They'll win it again this year. It was a solid football
So,
squad.
so when it comes to the Bucks this year, two things come to mind. You were talking about Jason Light and the job that he's done this offseason to keep everybody together. I think assigning Antoine Winfield Jr. to that extension that he had this offseason was huge. Even though he's hurt right now, I think the fact that they're doing what they're doing right now without him on the field is great because he's easily a top 3 safety in the league when he's healthy. Second thing is getting and then extending Baker to be that quarterback. And I don't know if we've seen the kind of career arc that we've seen with Baker so far. I mean, he came into Cleveland. He was the savior son of Cleveland. It felt like he was the personality and he kind of played the brand of football that Cleveland was about as a quarterback.
Made the
And then you
playoffs
see
there.
made the playoffs, and then uh, he gets hurt, and then Cleveland decides that they want to go with Deshaun Watson, and what might end up being one of the worst decisions in pro football history, that letting Baker walk and trying to go grab Deshaun Watson and signing him to this massive contract. And then you see Baker bounce around for a while. You see him make that run that he had with the Rams, and then he went to the Panthers and
Yeah, Panthers, Rams, but that's neither
Panthers
here nor
ran.
there. He almost was out
Here
of a
nor
job.
there. Yeah, he was almost out of a job, and then he goes and gets a chance with the Bucks, and now he's turning it up.
Former
So
scout team D lineman Baker Mayfield at the Panthers. It is a crazy arc. Like you go from being the number one pick in the draft, getting a team to the playoffs that hasn't been there in forever. They see that the grass is not greener on the other side, obviously, but that's what they thought. And then the Panthers stint was rough, really rough, but the Panthers are just a rough situation in general. And then you
Yeah.
have it's so bad. So bad. And then you have the electric like shows up 2 days before Thursday night football with the Rams, plays and does a 2-minute drill to win the game, and then kind of went quiet that year. Then the Bucks get it. It's crazy. It's crazy. I
Like
don't know.
I hem and haw about my team a lot. Could you imagine being a Panthers fan? When have they had a reason to smile?
When they made the Super Bowl against the Patriots in 01, I think.
Yeah, and against the Broncos. But besides that,
in 2015.
not a lot
Cam
of
Newton.
guys
Yep.
smiling down there.
No.
Hey, you get some cheap tickets there.
48 cents.
Well, speaking of cats that aren't smiling right now, the Bucks beat the Lions after they had a season opening overtime winner last week. Uh, they've built ever since Dan Campbell got there. And ever since Ben Johnson's been the OC there, they've built this reputation of just being a gritty, hard nosed football team. And the fact that they decided that they were going to throw the ball 55 times after they were running it down people's throats last week was crazy to me. And like I didn't get a chance to watch this particular game. I saw some of the clips and everything, but then I go to the stats because I see Jared Goff throws the ball 55 times, and I'm like, oh man, the line is really good. They have the best 1-2 punch in the backfield in the NFL right now. Run game must have not been working. And then all of a sudden I see that they were averaging 5 yards a carry. I
Teams
don't
really
know.
love doing this fun thing where they can run the football and they know they can run the football. And then they throw the football and then they lose. And this is to all you OCs, you coaches out there. If you can run the football, keep
Run the
running the
football.
football.
Run
Run the
the
football.
football. I mean, we
Run the
saw
damn ball.
Run the damn ball.
Still keep it on the Lions real quick. They went to overtime last week, like I just said, right? They didn't attempt a pass in overtime when the game mattered the most. They knew what they were, and they handed it off to David Montgomery. I don't know how many times. They used arguably the best O-line in the league to win the football game, and I don't know why they didn't do it this week.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you see like the pure MCDC moments throughout the game with the fake punt, like with Jack Fox
Yeah.
throwing the ball in his what it
In
looked
own-
like his
own
own
10-yard
end
line?
zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. That's MCDC football. But then, like you said, it didn't look like the same. Like we're gonna grind it out and beat like pure grit that team is. Like it just looked like a different team. And I don't know.
Also, you know
Weird.
how bad it has to suck getting 4.5 sacks and you lose?
Literally. I was just about to bring up the fact that
Hutch is a dog.
that a 4.5 sack day was just wasted.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Baker had his longest career rushing touchdown of 11 yards.
What was
Yeah.
it? 11 yards. He was so disappointed when he found out that was.
Well, God, it probably felt like 30 when he was running it.
Well, do you see him break Malcolm Rodriguez's ankles?
Yeah,
Or
Rodrigo
Rodrigo.
in the dirt.
I will still
That was
always
bad.
have a soft spot for Rodrigo from Hard Knocks.
I agree.
Can't help but
I
not.
love him. I love him.
Yeah,
Hey,
I got
you
a
know
soft
what?
spot for the Lions. I love the Lions.
It's hard not to like the Lions. It's a fun it's a fun team. Maybe through the offseason, Dan Campbell lost himself in the Applebee's commercials and just didn't do enough gritty work in the offseason.
I mean, maybe we're thinking too much about some honey chipotle chicken crisper. Damn it, that's Chili's. Never mind.
No, it's the 50-cent wing night, and you gotta put the play sheet up here so they don't know what you're ordering. They'll
Did
never see
Dan
it
Campbell
coming.
sell out, or when are we going to bring up this?
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is two teams that could very well see each other again in the playoffs.
Easily.
And I think there would be a different game plan from the Lions' perspective. And then if you're the Bucks, I mean, you just keep doing what you've been doing for the last 2 times you played them, because they played them competitively the first time as well in the playoffs last year. And I don't know. I think the Bucks are going to be a hard matchup for any team they play this year, just because that defense is loaded. Offense, you have weapons. It's a fun team. It's a fun team.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin looked like Chris Godwin, and then you have Mike Evans out there. It's a fun
I mean,
team.
I'm ashamed to admit I didn't watch this game. I'm looking at the stats right now. Based off of statistics alone, it looks like there's no way the Buccaneers should have won this game. That's why I love
it's not
football.
wrong.
Well,
That's why we love football.
Yeah, regardless of what happened last week, I still think the Lions are going to end up winning the NFC North. I still think they're the best team in the NFC North.
I would hope so.
Moving on to the NFC South, they had 2 teams, what really 3 teams this week. Moving on, looking at New Orleans right now, that had
Those Saints. What are they
Had these
doing?
major upsets. The Saints.
What's in the water down there in New Orleans?
Yeah, it's your team.
Scoring on the first 15 possessions, going 15 for 15 is crazy.
They have every time Derek Carr has had a possession, they have scored.
I know.
It's crazy.
Let's hear from the voice of the Saints, AJ. What are your thoughts right now?
So growing up as a Saints fan, I have been absolutely spoiled with the likes of Drew Brees my entire childhood. All right. Greatest quarterback of all time. In my opinion. I don't care. I don't care.
Anyway.
Anyway.
He's 5'11", Justin Herbert.
Yeah, with 1 million passing yards. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. The Saints looked like the greatest show on turf right now. And I think the main reason for it is them hiring Clint Kubiak. I think that hire was one of the best things any team did all offseason this last year. Because we know that Dennis Allen is a elite defensive mind at head coach, right? The thing that held them back last year was their offense. Was their offense.
I've always
so,
had a soft spot for Derek Carr, so I kind of love this.
I
yeah,
love for Derek Carr, but it is crazy. In 2 weeks, Dennis Allen is on already off the hot seat. He was on the hot seat going into the season. Now they win 2 games, and everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's the greatest coach of all time."
Well,
I'm like, great on defense, yes.
Yeah,
but
so the reason for that, because everybody knew coming in that Dennis Allen was a really good defensive coach. He was the coordinator for New Orleans when Sean Payton was still there. Had elite defenses, right? The problem last year was the offense, and now they go and hire Clint Kubiak, who comes from that Shanahan West Coast tree, right? Which basically every
The whole NFL, it feels like at
whole
this point.
the whole NFL team, the whole NFL is in this right now. But they go and hire him, and immediately, like you said, they go 15 for 15 on scoring possessions to start out the season with Derek Carr.
And like, don't get me wrong, one of those games is against the Panthers.
Yeah.
So I
Division
kind of
team,
like, I kind of disregarded it the first week.
But then you do it in the
Then those
second week
bastards did it again.
in Jerry World,
So then they do it in Dallas against a defense that is obviously vaunted, right? We had who's the head coach of Washington right now?
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn comes over from the Cowboys after being their defensive coordinator. Had an elite defense that we all knew. Had the likes of Micah Parsons, who everyone is comparing to this generation's Lawrence Taylor.
Crazy.
I think there's some validity that I ain't saying Micah Parsons is Lawrence Taylor or anything, but that was a really good defense under Dan Quinn. Now, not most of it, but part of that is Dan Quinn. He's been an elite defensive mind ever since he's been in the NFL. But then you go and look at this week 2 game. Saints put up 44 points. Saints put up 44 points, and they have 100. And the biggest thing we mentioned Derek Carr. The biggest thing was 190 yards rushing that the Saints had. And there was a shot that I'll put in here of the Saints lining up in a formation under center, right? Alvin Kamara, a couple tight ends, and they show the angle of the box count for the defense of the Cowboys. It is not gap sound. There's a reason that they had 190 rushing yards on the day. If I had it pulled up right now, I'd explain all the schematics of it. But
I think with Dallas too, part of the stuff that like people forget is they lost Kellen Moore. They lost Dan Quinn. They've lost 2 very good coordinators.
Yes.
And like everybody's expecting to go off without a hitch when like those 2 have been in that Cowboy system for so long. And now you got big old Mike McCarthy calling the plays and doing
but he won a Super Bowl 14 years ago, Noah.
He's got the same as Drew Brees, so I'll give him that. But
damn right.
I don't know. I think the fun part about this Saints team is next 4 weeks, you got the Eagles at home in New Orleans. You go to Atlanta, you go to Kansas City, and you're home for the Bucks. That is a crazy 4-game stretch. That's going to be fun to like who knows? Like I think the Eagles defense is better than the Cowboys personally. I think. But
right now it is. Yeah. Right now it is.
And I think it's going to be interesting. That's a big 4-week stretch with 2 division games in it that are like all. I mean, the Falcons and the Bucks had a lot of hype coming into the season. I felt like the Saints were kind of the quieter team to me from the outside looking in. Well, when you look at the national media,
and the missing piece was the offense. And as soon as
100%.
And as soon as you figure out that the Saints have a really good offense, it looks like through 2 weeks, then
100%.
their chances of winning the division just shoot up.
And Rashid Shaheed might as well be Deshaun Jackson.
Literally. Big sky guy.
Big sky guy, Weber guy.
No.
And he's gonna gash you.
He's gonna run
Also-
fast and be open.
That Chiefs Saints game is prime time. That game might be awesome.
It's a Monday
It's
night
going to be
game
awesome. That's going to be awesome.
in Arrowhead.
And
It's gonna be a bomb.
by that time, the Chiefs are gonna have Kareem Hunt in the backfield again. What a
And the
world!
Sign him
Saints will
today.
be 2, and the Saints will be 2-2. It'll be great.
The Saints might be 4-0. They got 200 points at that point in the season. They might be the greatest team of all time.
Could be.
Alvin
I've never-
Kamara has 30 touchdowns already.
It is crazy. I think it's going to be a very fun to follow along with this Saints team, just because just a lot of. So, I mean, it's an experienced crew with Derek Carr. Kamara's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen's been a coach for a
yep.
long time. Like it's a lot
revamped offensive line. I mean their left tackle that they got from Oregon State this past draft. He's plug and play at left tackle. Put Penning at right.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep following along. It's gonna be fun. It'd be awesome if Derek Carr keeps this up. I love for Derek Carr because the Raiders could really use a quarterback right now.
I mean, I don't understand how anyone could not like Derek Carr, because he just seems like just one of the true good guys in the league.
That guy got
No.
MVP votes at some point. People forget.
Might get MVP votes.
Good
this year.
chance.
Currently
We're gonna
leading the league
see-
in touchdown passes.
Is it gonna come down to Baker,
Which is
Mayfield
kinda
versus
easy to do
Derek
this
Carr
year.
for the MVP?
That'd be hilarious. That'd be the greatest MVP race of all time.
Derek Carr, Baker
They-
Mayfield MVP race.
I'd be
last
so
game-
happy with that.
The last game of the year is for the division and for the
And the
MVP,
MVP.
between Derek Carr
That'd be
and
beautiful.
Baker Mayfield in Tampa. That'd be amazing.
What would happen in a world where Baker Mayfield wins the NFL MVP? It'd be so great.
It'd be the best.
The
I've
Brown-
always loved that guy. I've
The
always
Browns
loved
moved
that guy.
back to Baltimore.
Pretty much. I was watching. I actually rewatched when he was getting drafted after he got drafted by the Browns. I rewatched him going on Colin Cowherd's show the other day because Colin Cowherd just does not like the guy
No,
the whole time. But they had to sit
Backwards
down
hat
Too
guy.
about
much
his
swag.
backwards hat guy, just like
backwards
Dalton.
hat guy, and he was celebrating with the student section instead of his teammates. Like, I mean, come on now. I love Baker Mayfield. I hope that him and Derek Carr both keep this up and both those teams keep rolling. It'd be fun. Be good for the NFL.
Two of the most likable quarterbacks in the league right now. Easily.
Can we rip this 49ers Band-Aid off?
Not yet. We got to talk about one more NFC South team, and then we'll get to your Niners.
Okay.
Anyway, Kirk
Talk about
Chains.
another likable quarterback, Kirk Cousins,
Chains.
in prime time, baby. I was pumped. Would have been really pumped if he threw that touchdown to Bijan to win it. But I was really pumped for the guy. Just a guy that does not get a lot of good things said about him in prime time. I was pumped. The Falcons if anybody doesn't know, the Falcons upset the Eagles Monday Night Football. 2-minute drill from Kirk Cousins. It was glorious. Why did the Eagles throw the ball on 3rd and 1 and just said tush push their way through it? I don't know. Happy they did.
I mean, I get it if you can, like, the play was so well drawn up.
Well,
You
they-
just
they-
gotta
they-
expect
they ran the same play that Saquon scored on earlier in the game. It was the same play.
Yeah, but like, I don't think there was a world where they thought they got their look to like this play is gonna work, and everyone thought Saquon would catch the ball.
Sure.
Kind of funny that he didn't. I was pretty happy. I hate the Eagles. You got to think that guy's gonna catch the ball.
You paid him a lot of money to drop the ball right there.
You
Well,
paid him
and
a
the-
lot of
and-
money to
well-
drop the ball right there.
Well, and the thing is, he did it. He had already done it in the game. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why you call that the same. It's the same play, same formation, same third down, 3rd and short. It's the same. It's the same
It
thing.
should have been a slam dunk.
Should have been, but
It wasn't. It was pretty funny.
Isn't it crazy how just little things like that happen in football games? You could be the best player on the best team, and you have one mistake like that in front of millions of eyes, and then you just feel awful.
You
After
can
that.
take a guy out of New York. You can't take New York out of a guy.
And then you
Them
look back
Giants
at
will find a way to lose it. It's in his blood.
how happy was the Giants GM that he dropped that.
It
had
probably
to be.
wasn't much happier than he's probably a pretty sad guy. That's a pretty sad job to have. Probably put a smile on his face.
I would hope it was the best part of his weekend because that weekend must have been terrible. But I just think, I mean, if you look back, Eagles are big. Nick Sirianni, big analytics guy,
Big.
and you have the first quarter, 4th and 3 on like the 10-yard line, or like whatever it was, 12 going in the first or second quarter. I was watching the Manning cast. Belichick was on with the Mannings. Not happy. Not happy. He's like, I get it. He's like, you don't get it and you stop them. You get it on your side of the field and field goal range almost, but you didn't get it. What's the point? And then they went down, had like 3 first downs. And it's just, I don't know. You take, obviously, hindsight's 2020. You take the field goal there. You're up more at the end, probably. Who knows how that changes the game. But I don't know. I think Sirianni is going to be an interesting watch again with all the analytics that he takes into account.
Are the Eagles 2-9 the last 11 games?
Yeah.
Did I see that right somewhere?
Yeah,
2
that's
and
a real
9.
stat. That's pretty cool.
1-9 in America.
1-9 in America. Brazil games don't count. Everyone knows that.
Unless you're Jordan
Except for
Love,
Jordan
then
Love's
they
knee.
really count.
Except you're Jordan. All right, Dalton, you ready?
Ivan.
Sam Darnold, guys, what are we doing? For 6 hours on Sunday, I was convinced that the Niners had the worst O-line in the league until I watched the Bears game. But before that, it's so terrible. Trent Williams can't save an entire O-line. Trent Williams kind of played bad. I hate to say it. I haven't seen that guy give up a sack. It feels like maybe ever. Also, Mooney Ward, Diamador Lenore, I think that they both gave up 50 yards that game. What are we doing? Letting Justin Jefferson go wherever the hell he wants on a football field. AJ doesn't like it when you're happy about an injury, but I was pretty happy when he went to the locker room because there was no way we would have a chance to win that football game if that guy was still there. We're letting safeties guard him? What are we doing? We follow him around the field. You think Sam Darnold's winning that game throwing it to anyone else? No. What are we doing? I don't got much else to say. This team stinks. Jordan Mason's really good at football, though, and I love him.
I hated it for the Niners. They are my second team, but happy for Sam Darnold. Hate to say it.
Sam Darnold, the Niners had a chance to win the game. I felt momentum was our way. I thought there's no way that Sam Darnold was going to beat us. And this man throws it 20 yards down the field in between 4 guys. In the perfect spot he could have placed it.
Okay, that throw, if you look at the end zone angle of that is an insane throw to make.
It was a crazy throw.
Like having the chutzpah back there and be like, I can make this throw. Bing.
Yeah. They put it literally just between 4 guys, the perfect spot. He threw the ball, and I thought interception.
Yeah, well, so he threw it on the back shoulder too of the guy running up the seam, and if he would have thrown it on the front shoulder, that safety would have had the chance to go pick it.
Yeah, he threw the ball, and I saw where the ball was going. I think surely somebody's gonna hit or catch this ball. No, it was just the biggest dagger, and it probably had to feel pretty good if you're Sam Darnold.
Heck yeah. Talk about a weekend for just good guy quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's another one. What did he get cut by San Francisco?
We just let him go. We got Josh Dobbs instead.
So, how good do you think Sam Darnold feels coming back and getting the starting quarterback job?
Had to have been pretty fun in the locker room after that game.
I would think so.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like there was a world where Sam Darnold won the job in San Francisco. Still has to feel pretty good.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we saw a quote from Sam Darnold in the locker room telling everybody that was listed in the Vikings locker room they shouldn't have. Again, his words, not mine. Cut me. So fair.
Congrats on not being on the bench, Sam Darnold. Congrats. You would have been on the bench if we let you're welcome, Sam Darnold.
Hey, JJ McCarthy would be playing right now if he didn't have to get knee surgery.
Yeah, and the Niners would have won by 50.
I know, I agree. I'm excited. Vikings next game is the Texans.
I didn't know we lived in a world of hypotheticals around here.
We love hypotheticals.
Love a good hypothetical.
It helps me reason with my football team.
Your football team's fine.
So
also, Fred Warner is so good at football.
So good.
Who?
He's
Fred
so
Warner
good.
is so good at football.
We'll talk
So
about him.
good.
We'll talk about him later.
Well,
Don't-
I gotta
don't
say
you-
one more thing. Fred Warner was like a Band-Aid on a recently repaired ACL scar on a knee, holding it together. Without Fred Warner on that, the Niners probably wouldn't have scored. IE doesn't even play on offense. Fred Warner is good at football. I love Fred Warner.
Before we move on from the Vikings, they also have a fun 4-game stretch coming up. Texans at home, on the road to Green Bay, in London against the Jets, Sam Darnold revenge game part 2, and then at home for the Lions.
By the time we get to London, the Vikings are going to be forgotten about already.
I don't know, man.
That team's going
I
to be
don't
2-2
know.
going into London.
All right,
They're going to lose to Malik Willis?
Has Malik Willis lost a football game starting yet?
Wait, the Colts.
Yeah, fair. Anthony Richardson is either just the best quarterback on the planet or so bad.
Talk
Like,
about
it's
a
like-
boom or bust guy.
It's like Cam Newton levels, and it's like, oh shit, the Panthers. You're only getting two sides of Cam Newton, and from Anthony Richardson, you're either getting Cam Newton or you're getting the Panthers. That was a bad analogy, but you know what I meant.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it. All right, Noah, you have Bengals Chiefs on here.
I just thought it was a great football game that we should talk about.
Okay.
Bengals looked like a completely different team from when they got beat up by the big bad team in the Northeast of the Patriots. And, Joe Burrow looked leaps and bounds better. And then I also think it's hilarious how Jamar Chase has turned into Odell Beckham. He
Kind
didn't
of
get
funny. Pretty
he didn't-
similar.
didn't get his contract, then just loses it on an official because he thought he got hip drop tackled. No, I haven't seen it. I know that it's like a point of emphasis they were talking about.
It hasn't been called. I
Haven't seen one
get
flag
called.
for it.
No.
And he's out here.
Joe Mixon got
complain-
hurt. Joe Mixon got hurt this week on it.
Agreed. Yeah.
No-
There's
no
like
penalty.
there's like 4 points that refs have to look at for it like to be declared a hip drop tackle. How are they
It's
going to
too
look at all
fast.
those? It's too fast.
I think.
And
I mean,
like
I
the
think. I think it was. Sorry, I think it was stupid in the first place for that to become a penalty. Like, yes, I hate that when it happens, it usually results in an injury, but it's so difficult to be able to, like you said, Dalton, distinguish between the 4 different aspects of what a hip drop tackle really is in real time.
Yeah,
It's
like-
easy. It's easy for us to look at it when it's replayed 3 or 4 times before the next play. But
me, you, and Gene Steratore can all see it. Those guys on the field, it's pretty tough for them.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if Gene sees it. Dean Blandino, though, he's got it. I think it's just, I don't know. Like, I get why they did it, but like, it's basically as a defender, you're trying to teach them instead of like trying to drag the guy down, but backwards and not let him get like a first down. You're basically like, your only option is like push him forward to tackle him. Like,
Push him
I don't like
forward
it.
or just jump on his back and just go for a ride for the next 3 or 4 yards.
Exactly. I just
Yeah,
don't
it's
like
gonna
it.
happen.
No,
But
I don't like it.
I mean, I just thought it was hilarious that Jamar Chase is turning into Odell Beckham Jr. and that I love Twitter for those kind of moments when they all think that shouldn't be pass interference when it 100% was.
It 100% is. It
Like,
100%
it's just
is.
as a fan, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be saying that's not pass interference all day, we win. But 100% was, and I just enjoy whenever those two teams play, it's going to be a good game. I think all of the games they've played, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, have come down to a field goal, and that's electric. Like, you can guarantee that game will be a good game.
Yeah, and the fact that the Chiefs played about as bad as you could play and still came out on top, I think is a real testament to the quality of football team that they have. Like, yeah, it's good for me saying that the Chiefs are a good football team, but
Chiefs is the Chiefs.
Yeah,
So it's
but-
just kind of like a rule of thumb for me. I just don't like to have the Chiefs on the TV. It's a mental health thing. And so I'm going purely based off of fantasy football. And Patrick Mahomes is my fantasy football quarterback. I think that guy kind of stinks now. He
Oh,
hasn't done
stop
much
it.
to impress me yet this season.
Oh, stop it.
Like I said, I haven't watched games. It's a rule of mine. I don't have him on TV.
Hey, Dalton,
It-
I just want to say this publicly. I'm proud of you for worrying about you. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
You know, you got to worry about you sometimes. Who else is going to
Yeah.
worry about you sometimes? You never know. You got to
Yeah.
worry about you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. I wouldn't watch Giants games for a while when I was growing up. I mean, I
Giants games
understand.
are probably pretty fun for you to watch now, though.
Still hurts.
With
Fair.
that being said, Dalton, take off your tinfoil hat.
That's not a tinfoil hat. That was statistics, AJ.
You
Who
say
the
you
best
say
quarterback ever? Guy can't get me 20 points in a fantasy game.
Like you needed him this week, but whatever.
True.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So one of the biggest talking points so far in the NFL season is the fact that rookie quarterbacks are struggling really bad.
Let's go with
No,
the rookie quarterback. Let's go with Caleb Williams. I think that I would struggle too if my pocket resembled what I think the beaches of Normandy look like. How many times are they going to let that guy get hit? Of course,
I
he's
think
not throwing up good stats. The guy is getting murdered.
he leads the league in sacks taken right now.
But those aren't like sacks. The way they say sacks taken, those really aren't on him at a certain point. Some of them, like
Some
when
of
he's
them,
running,
so
Yeah,
when he's
some of
been
them he's
when
running
he's been
back.
running around and
Yeah.
he's got caught. Like but like you have, I think transitioning from college to the NFL, you're gonna have that, like
100%.
because you've never not been able to do that. High school, like since you were a kid, you could always do that. And I think
Yeah.
that takes a lot to get used to. So like some of those when he's doing that, yeah. But man, live bullets flying. People are getting ragging on him for that pick he threw after he like eluded like 3 guys in the pocket, rolled. He's just trying to make a play. Like
yeah,
at a certain point, that offense hasn't been doing anything. That defense is so good that like who cares if he who cares if he throw the pick?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like try to make something happen because nothing's happened the whole day.
I mean,
So,
that
like,
guy gets pressured pretty much every time he drops back to pass.
I do have
I
a
mean-
fun fact about rookie
Okay.
quarterbacks.
Okay.
Drake May and Joe Milton have thrown the same number of passing touchdowns as all the rookies so far. Let's go, boys. We haven't played a game yet. Yes. Gosh, I hate watching Jacoby Brissett.
1-1.
Oh, gee. Okay. So actually, now that you mentioned,
fact.
now that you mentioned Patriots quarterbacks, good old Tom Brady came out with a statement about why
The real GOAT.
rookie quarterbacks are struggling so far. Again, and we have to remember these are rookie quarterbacks. These guys have never played in the NFL before. It is week 2 in their. We are 2 games into their career. Again, we're the problem. We're part of the problem now. We're talking about it. You know,
Somebody's got to be a part of the problem. And I'm all in.
But the thing that Tom Brady pointed out was the fact that these college quarterbacks are getting into systems while they're playing in college that don't necessarily prepare them for what the NFL is going to ask of them. So you look at let's take a quick look at all the starting rookie quarterbacks in the NFL right now. We have Bo Nix in Denver, right? In college, he was getting the ball out quick, high percentage throws, getting out on the run, deep shots off play action. Again, that's great. Had a great season, Heisman candidate, all of that. The job of his offensive coordinator in college and it really in any offensive coordinator at any level of football is to make the job as easy as possible on the quarterback, right? And that's what happened with Bo Nix in Oregon, right? And then you look at Caleb Williams in Chicago, like we talked about already, relied heavily on his athletic ability to run around, scramble, make plays, right? When you're playing with the big dogs, that's not going to work. So I guess this brings
see
up
Patrick Mahomes do that quite often. Just saying.
Goes back to it, that guy stinks.
I mean, he's one. So you can't take the exception to the rule and make him the rule. You know, You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so we're gonna set the bar lower than greatness.
No, no. I'm saying
Let's
it's
make
Pat.
Kirk Cousins the bar.
No,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
saying
Kirk.
no. I'm saying Pat Mahomes is the bar. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now because he can do those things. You know, and then you look at Jaden Daniels in Washington. His situation is unique because his offensive coordinator is Cliff Kingsbury. For those who didn't know, Cliff Kingsbury was a truly innovative play caller in college, was the head coach at Texas Tech, all that. Had Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, gets the chance to go into Arizona to be the head coach there and implement his style of offense at the NFL level. Now, there were some good, there were some bad when he was at Arizona.
And there
Put up some put up, but still put up some pretty good numbers, right? He goes off to USC. What? Hold on. He
So
goes
it's
off
kind
to
of
he goes off to Cliff Kingsbury goes off to USC, comes back in the NFL. Now he has this is the second rendition of how his style of offense, very similar to what a college offense would look like, gets the second chance to install it. And now he has Jaden Daniels, who was a Heisman Trophy winner. He has the chance to converge those two into a successful offense right now. And even though Jaden Daniels hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet, he's still using his legs. He's still getting the ball around. He's tied with rookie wins. So I think the situation in Washington is a little bit different with Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury running the show or running the offense there. But yeah, Dalton, what'd you have?
So I pride myself in when it comes to football. I'm an NFL guy. I know things about the NFL. This is an SMU situation. I think that I forgot. Didn't know Cliff Kingsbury was in Washington. I thought that guy was still in Thailand. I'm not gonna lie. So that was very educational, AJ.
You're welcome. See, that's the thing though, because like when you get these rookie quarterbacks, yeah, more than likely they're going to be in a college system to put them in the best possible situation to succeed, and that might be limited verbiage, that might be not having to control a huddle, that might be just looking to the sideline for the signal and relaying it to the O line in the back and the receivers, yada yada, making easy reads. Not easy reads, but making simple reads, true 1, 2, 3 progressions, field reads, whatever it may be. Then you have Cliff Kingsbury in Washington now, who is able to take the stuff that Jaden Daniels did well in Washington and mold it into what a Kingsbury offense might look like, and trying to make those two fit into one another. And I think that's why part of the reason why Jaden Daniels is arguably the best rookie quarterback right now.
I got a couple things to say about Bo Nix. One, that guy, you can tell his age by the way he talks to the media. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
or you guys
yes,
saw this.
I
I'm
loved it.
assuming you did.
I loved it.
That's so great. Drop back and threw it to the other team. That's what I saw in the interception. Two, I did watch the entirety of that Broncos Steelers game. And I gotta say one thing about Bo Nix. When the ball leaves his hand, it looks really, really good. Guy throws such a good ball. It looks pretty. It almost never went to his wide receivers. But the ball itself looks real nice. And I think that's a building block going forward. Guy's gonna be good in Denver.
No, I think Bo Nix is obviously super mature. He's considered an older quarterback, right? He played 6 years in college, right? Super mature. I mean, this is going to be a building block year for him. Again, obviously, it's his rookie season, right? You don't write off players after their rookie season. That's just not how it works. Also, with the Sean Payton offense, I mean, that's talk about West Coast. Like that is you gotta do a lot in a Sean Payton system. That's part of the reason why Drew Brees was really good, is because he was able to do that when both of those two were in New Orleans. Uh, but I think Nix is gonna have some issues this season, which I think all rookie quarterbacks are gonna have.
So speaking of writing guys off and rookie seasons, since it's not his rookie season, can we just say that Bryce Young stinks?
I wouldn't say he stinks. I think he's in a I think he's in a real bad situation right now.
I don't like that they benched him.
I don't
I'll say
either.
it.
I wouldn't have liked it last year, but
I don't like how
They went from Garrett. If Bryce Young plays every game, they have the number one pick. Now Andy Dalton's going to win a few games, and now it's like they're going to be like 3, and they're not going to get their guy. Bryce, you play Bryce Young the whole time. You have your next guy. You're having the 1-1 because that guy stinks. And so you have your 1-1.
guy
You just tank the
stinks.
rest of the year. You have 1-1. You take whoever you think the best quarterback is, and you move on.
all right. My turn. All right. First of all, I don't think Bryce Young stinks. All right. You don't get you're not the one overall pick if you stink. All right.
Well, sometimes you are.
He has the tools. He has the tools to succeed in the NFL as an NFL quarterback. All right.
So did Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell had way more tools in his belt.
Yeah, but then you look at the other side of quarterbacking, and it's the mental side of it. I think we can all agree that with all the BS that Bryce Young has had to go through in his short NFL career,
It's funny because he's 5'10".
I'm trying to be I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to defend this guy's career.
Sorry, I think he stinks.
On the one hand, I don't.
That guy. Keep defending him. Let's hear
on the one hand, I don't like that the Panthers publicly came out and said Bryce is our quarterback, and 24 hours later, they bench him for Andy Dalton. I don't like that. I think it's a bad look. I don't think it's good for Bryce Young. On the other hand, I think giving Bryce Young a chance to kind of pull himself away from the situation, kind of hit a reset, try to hit a reset on his career. I mean, who knows how long Andy Dalton's going to be the starting quarterback this season for Carolina, but I think giving Bryce Young the chance to hit the reset button on his career and this early, I think it'll be a good thing for him, because I think he's still going to be a really good NFL quarterback.
I just think if you're gonna play Andy Dalton, this should have been a last year to play Andy Dalton thing.
All right, and so we can tie that back into the whole rookie quarterback thing. I love what New England is doing with Drake May right now, because I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree that Drake May is going to be really good. I think we need to get back to not forcing first round rookie quarterbacks into the starting position just because you allocated so much stock into them.
I agree with that, but I think that if you spent all that time forcing him into that position, you better keep him there.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think another thing that you will notice if you, again, I'm a scheme nerd, right? Another thing that you'll notice this year in the NFL is passing is way down. Now, part of that is because there's new quarterbacks in the league, right? The other thing is defenses have now adjusted the way they are structured and how they play to counter the things that to counter the passing attack that the offenses have developed over the course of the last, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years, something like that. Because we've seen this trend of these at least for these non-Shanahan teams, this trend toward air raid style concepts and philosophies, right? Speed and space, route adjustments, passing the ball is becoming the priority instead of running the ball, right?
That hasn't showed up in New England yet either. That's not just Shanahan. It hasn't shown up in New England either. Don't worry.
So what defenses have done now is they have gone from a predominantly one high structure. And when I say one high, for anyone who doesn't know, it's talking about the one high safety, from a one high safety structure that was popularized a lot by the likes of like Dan Quinn back in the Legion of Boom days with the Seahawks, right? Now they are putting back 2 safeties, right? Now a lot of teams are becoming two high base structures, right? And it's a lot more nuanced than how I'm explaining it right now. But what that does is when you start playing quarters coverage and cover six and all these different concepts to stop the pass and prioritize to stop the pass, you're going to see lower passing numbers on offense.
Why don't they just sling that thing, AJ?
Well, actually, can I tell you? Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
If you look at the EPA of running and passing so far this season, I believe running the ball actually, for the first time since I think 2013 when these stats started getting tracked, running the ball actually loses you points. Or excuse me, reverse that. Passing the ball as actually loses you points per drive. While running the ball has now surpassed passing and expected points output during the course of a game. That's the first time since at least 2013, probably longer. But that's the last time that these stats have been getting tracked. The passing game is now losing you points, and the running game, for the first time in a long time, is now a higher efficiency than passing is right now.
It always comes back to running the football. It is crazy. It's like, I remember seeing the stats. I remember the number. There's been like 80 something passing touchdowns so far this season. And typically the first 2 weeks, it's usually like 110.
100, yeah. 100
Yeah.
was the base.
Yeah. Wild.
Wild.
I love it.
And football is cyclical, ladies and gentlemen. That's just how it works.
Well, yeah, Jim Harbaugh's back in the league.
Yeah, having a 300-pound defensive tackle at fullback, that's how it's done.
God, I'd
That's how
run
it's
through a
done.
wall for that guy.
I love Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the first NFL coach to ever bring me happiness. I'm really happy to see him having a good time down there in Los Angeles.
I
It
love
looks like
that guy.
it looks like Justin Herbert's having a good time too.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, I know for sure is having a good time.
J.K. Dobbins is having I gotta look this up. I think one of the biggest things that the Chargers did, besides bring back Jim Harbaugh, was bringing back Greg Roman. Now, if you're a Ravens fan, you might not like Greg Roman a whole lot, but Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh back in his San Francisco days when
That
y'all
was a
went to
good
the Super Bowl.
defense.
When y'all went to the Super Offense.
Offense. Shut up. You know what I meant.
When y'all went
That's
to the
why I
Super
like
Bowl.
running the football.
That's what
You
I'm
knew
saying.
you should have taken the stock higher on J.K. Dobbins once he went to go play for Jim Harbaugh.
The hard part was you just didn't know who the guy was going to be, and then J.K. Dobbins through 2 weeks has just established himself as
Hindsight's 2020. I really thought Gus Edwards was going to get the football more.
I thought it was going to be more of a running back by committee deal because J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, former Ravens, again, Greg Roman connection right there. I thought there was going to be more of a running back by committee, but J.K. Dobbins has just run away with the job.
Literally.
Literally.
I mean, we've reached a point where Jim Harbaugh is such a good coach. Quinn Johnson had 2 touchdowns last week.
I put a waiver claim in.
Yeah, do you know what miracles you have to work to make that guy catch the football, let alone catch it in the end zone?
Hey, nobody's got it better than the Chargers.
You beat me to it. Nobody's got it better than that.
I love Jim Harbaugh. I love his interviews. I will never not cheer again. It's gonna be like the Patriots will have to play Jim Harbaugh in the AFC Championship for me to cheer against him. If it's a regular season game, I might be impartial at that point. I don't know.
All right. So to wrap up this week two NFL talk here, offensive and defensive players of the week. Now, we were talking about it before we started recording. Offense consensus, I believe, is Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints.
Kind of has to be.
Has to be. I mean, 180 total yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. I mean, he had easily the best output of any offensive player in the league this last week. Defense, we can have a little bit of a debate. We have Aiden Hutchinson for the Lions, 4.5 sacks in 1 game. That's a lot. Or Dalton, I'll give you the floor for your argument for Fred Warner for defensive player of the week.
So Aiden Hutchinson won 4.5 sacks. That's an amazing game. That's great. You still lost. So did Fred Warner. Fred Warner literally went to the other offense and took the ball from them 3 times. They're on the 1 yard line about to go throw in a dagger. And Fred Warner said, hey, what if that football that was in your hands was in our hands? And then that's what he did. Fred Warner might be, this is going to be a crazy thing I'm about to say. In the terms of what he can do on the football field, Fred Warner is the most talented, maybe best middle linebacker of all time. And we're talking sideline to sideline. We're talking drop him in coverage. He's going to do it all.
Can I introduce you to the name Luke Kuechly?
Yeah,
Like Fred
you
Warner's
can.
already played longer than Luke Kuechly did.
I mean, that's fine. Dude, are we
That's
saying
fine.
are we saying that Fred
The
Warner is better
shocking
than Luke
thing
Kuechly?
was that you didn't say Ray Lewis there. I thought Ray
I
Lewis
thought it was going to be
coming
Ray
for
Lewis,
sure.
and Noah and I had a single bullet in the chamber that Ray Lewis probably wishes he had, and we were about to pull it. He
But
killed a guy.
I don't have a hard time disagreeing with you, Dalt. I really do.
I mean, you're
I
talking.
mean, I can tell you that he's probably the best middle linebacker in the league right now. I don't know about ever.
I don't know if there's a probably about it.
I don't think there's a probably about it right now.
Let me rephrase. He's the best middle linebacker in the NFL right now. I don't know about ever.
The hard
There's a
part
lot
with
of
I'm not
arguments
saying
forever.
I'm not saying stats and accolades. I'm saying
No,
there's
no,
not a
pure
middle
ability.
linebacker that can
No,
ever do as much as he can do.
I'm saying Luke Kuechly is that guy.
I just
I mean, I don't hate. I love Luke Kuechly.
No, and I know Luke Kuechly. And if we're gonna compare careers right now, like I know he played what was it, 7 years, 8 years before he had to retire.
Yeah, and he got all of the tackles.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, he was basically a safety. He was basically a big safety on that defense.
Yeah, and Fred Warner's better in coverage than he is.
I mean, I
don't disagree.
All right, both of you two go look up. Start looking up.
I know exactly. I know exactly the clips that you're gonna put in.
You could throw. Okay, here's the deal. You YouTube either one of these two, and you're gonna see their best plays.
Well,
you gotta
yeah,
judge them by their effort on their worst plays. You gotta check it out. I just think sideline to sideline, Fred Warner has a motor that is just
the only edge.
unbelievable.
The only edge that I believe that Luke Kuechly has, and Luke Kuechly has this edge on probably every middle linebacker ever, and it's up here. The guy was just so smart.
Yeah,
he just knew what everyone was doing.
Not to mention,
apart from that, I think Fred Warner is better in every aspect.
Not to mention that he is just an absolute athletic freak.
Yeah, he's almost as athletic as Fred Warner is.
Fred Warner's pretty athletic.
You guys make me sad.
You think we don't watch? You think we don't watch ball, AJ? We watch ball.
Do you know how many times I've watched a Jay Cutler highlight compilation the last week?
Way too many.
Once a bunch of times.
I've been there. I fell asleep with it on the other night. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
God, love that guy.
So who are we saying?
But if we're voting for defensive player of the week for this week, I'm going Aiden Hutchinson. 4.5 sacks in an NFL game is nuts.
It is. It is.
Yep.
He probably has to get it. I had to disagree the conversation, so we talked about Fred Warner more.
Yeah, I vote Aiden Hutchinson. Luke Kuechly is still a better overall linebacker than Fred Warner is. Sorry about it.
Yep, Luke Kuechly, the Carmelo Anthony of NFL NFL players.
Nah, you butchered it. Doesn't count.
I know.
You butchered it. Doesn't count.
Boo.
Boo. All right, moving on. Let's talk about our primetime slate this week.
All right, let's go to Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Kansas City, -3.5, going to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes. Another primetime game for Kirk Cousins, which is awesome.
2 in a row.
AJ, thoughts?
So, my thoughts with this is we just saw Kansas City played some of the worst football that they have ever played with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid at the helm. I have a series of stats from my buddy here in Nebraska, who is a massive Chiefs fan. Let's take a look here. NFL teams are 1-151 since 1991 when their teams gain under 300 total yards, allow more than 21 points, commit more than 3 turnovers, and convert on 15% or less on third down attempts. Guess who that one is.
Joe Namath.
No, not Joe Namath. It's the
Oh.
Chiefs. It was the
Yeah.
Chiefs
Yeah,
this
it
last
was.
weekend. Yeah, sure was. So I think the
I have
Chiefs.
a chief stat. I have a chief stat.
Let's hear it.
Patrick Mahomes has had 17 interceptions overturned in a 6-year career. Tom Brady had 17 in a 23-year
In
career.
20. Yep. Saw that one too.
How to do it. How to do it.
I mean,
I can't give pro. We can't have a pro Chiefs stat ever.
I hate
No,
those guys.
well, so like my point with that is just that when you can play so bad that literally nobody else ever won a game doing what you just did, and you win the game. I mean, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs. I mean, I hate to say it as much as the next guy that,
I
but
don't know if you hate to say it as much as Dalton wants to say it.
I hate that. I hate that team. And every time they're on prime time, I have to watch confetti rain down on my sad boys every single week. And then I have to see their tight end's girlfriend over and over again. And it just never ends. It never
She needs to go back
ends.
on tour.
I do have to say something about this game. This is going to be a reality check for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
I think that the Chiefs are going to beat the doors off of them.
It's going to be, I mean, they're not going to cover for sure.
No, I'm taking an alternate spread on this game all day.
This is a crazy line to me.
3.5's a crazy line.
Well, I think that's based purely off of what happened last week, and I get it, but
I get it too.
There's no reality. Kirk Cousins, I love the dude to death, wins 2 primetime games in a row. There's just no reality that's a thing.
No, it doesn't happen.
I think the real thing is the 2 primetime games in a row 4 days apart.
And also, don't get me wrong, I'm
thing.
going to be the Falcons' biggest fan that's not an actual Falcons fan during this game. I just don't see it.
I don't really see it either.
No, I
Love
don't either.
Love Kirko.
I mean, there's an alligator wrangler with long blonde hair in the backfield.
Who might rush for 100
who knows
yards
what
this week.
He might rush for 100 yards. Who knows? I picked him up just in case.
I picked him up.
Did we all pick him up?
Probably.
Someone had to pick him up, dude. Carson Steele? What a cool name. That's a cool dude. I don't like many Chiefs guys. That's a cool guy.
Matt guy.
Off the way.
Matt guy. Ball State guy.
Ball State.
Ball State guy.
Ball State. Chirp, chirp.
Ball State guy. All right. So that was a quick one. I think we all believe that Kansas City is going to run away with that one on Sunday night against Atlanta.
Let's go to this Jacksonville Buffalo game. I don't know why. I don't know where it is in my being. I want Trevor Lawrence to be good so bad. But
so bad. I want to be good so bad.
This Jacksonville team might stink. They have shown nothing for me to be like, solid squad down there in Jacksonville. I just want Trevor Lawrence to throw for 4,000 yards, toss 30-something tuds. I don't think he's going to do it. Nobody circles wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I think that this is going to be another one where I think the Bills might just beat them up.
I think this is easy. Like in Buffalo, 5.5. I think this is another. You go with the favorite, which I don't love because we've gone.
I don't either. But what is Jacksonville given us to think otherwise?
What's that receiver's name? Brian Thomas Jr. or whatever.
Yeah.
He's electric. He's electric. Travis Etienne, you never know, could have a big game. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen,
and he has a running back now.
But the thing with Josh Allen is he could throw it to that defense 3 times and score 5 touchdowns and make it a close game.
That's very true.
Like,
Josh Allen always likes to have a good time, give it to the other team a little bit.
He does, and I love that.
But he's only done it once so far this year.
It's true. That means it's coming, AJ.
That means it's coming. Josh Allen is a very good quarterback. That guy loves to turn the ball over, and he always will. And I got to respect that about him.
It means there's a very fun game in the horizon, and I hope Monday Night Football is going to be the really fun game where he scores 5 touchdowns, throws 3 picks, and wins the game. That is really what I feel like could happen.
And I agree. I just
He's looked really
I-
good though, and James Cook's been a dog.
Mhm.
What they just did to Miami, wow,
It was
wow.
putrid.
It was
So
amazing.
I was curious and I looked up the first 3 seasons of Trevor Lawrence and the first 3 seasons of Blake Bortles.
Are they closer than you'd like it to be?
Mm-hmm.
I just want him to be so good, but the team can't put up 20 points. I don't know why they can't put up 20 points, but they can't.
Blake Bortles, let's not act like that's a bad comparison. Guy made
No,
it to
I
an
know. I'm
AFC
saying no.
championship.
I know that's kind of what I'm saying is I don't know why people hate on Blake Bortles when he was doing more with less
Yeah,
than
but
Trevor
also
Lawrence
that
is right now.
2017 Jags defense was
Phenomenal, and that was
phenomenal.
and that's mainly the reason. I'd say that's the majority of the reason why they made it to the AFC Championship game when they did. But
Quarter away from going to the Super Bowl. That's unfortunate for them. I mean that with all
but
sincerity to Jags fans.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is with Trevor Lawrence,
It
but
just feels like that guy should be slinging it, and that guy's not slinging it.
yeah.
Especially with Doug Peterson. Like that's like you think that combination would just result like have a better result so far. And I don't know. I've been a big Trevor Lawrence guy. If you're one of those dudes that's been talked about since like you were a kid about how good you were, like he's been talked about since like freshman year of high school of how good he is, and like had all
Yep.
this success at Clemson, and like if you're a guy that like keeps your image clean, does like it seems like a good dude that does the right thing.
Does all the right things.
It's just like I want that dude to be good because he's won at every level, and he won a playoff game. I'll give him that. But like it's just like as far as like what expectations his whole life have been, it's not up to like his standard of what he's met every step along the way so far. But I don't know.
And it's not like he's been terrible.
No, not at all.
It's just he hasn't been great.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, right? Like
Eh,
again,
eh,
that goes back to like you've heard about him since he was a freshman in high school. Like
Yeah, you're expecting him to throw for
it
more
feels
than
like
25 touchdowns in a season.
exactly. It feels like he's been the number one like draft pick since like the first mock draft of his draft class came out. Like he's supposed to be the guy for so long. You expect more. Like a playoff win isn't gonna satisfy like the people that reflect on his career.
Yeah. Fun fact, me and Trevor Lawrence played on the same freshman All-American team in high school.
Really?
Did he have the
Fun
locks
fact.
then?
Oh yeah, he's had the locks for years.
You play on the same team?
We did.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
He
that was
touched
the
your
first.
nuts?
No, fun. Also
Aw.
another fun fact. Also another fun fact. I was a freshman All-American defensive end.
AJ, you were
you-
doing like that on the other side of the ball?
Did you sack him in
Damn.
practice?
You think we were allowed to touch him in practice? You're out of your
Did
mind.
you touch him at all?
Yeah.
Did he glow? Was there an aura about him?
No, we lost the game. We lost the All-Star game. It kind of sucked.
Ah,
No, that's okay.
okay, what do we got? Washington at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati
Okay.
minus 7.5 at home.
This one, I am so big on the Commanders this season just because I really like Jaden Daniels. I really like Dan Quinn, and I really like Cliff Kingsbury. I'm so big. I am so big on the Washington Commanders this year. When I look at this game, if hold on, sorry, uno momento, por favor. When I look at this game, I think the Bengals looked really good last week. They didn't look really good the week before. I think there's a lot of drama in that building. So if not in that building, surrounding that building right now. I think we can all agree on that. The Commanders' offense has been doing well. Their defense has been piss poor.
Well, the kicker's been doing well.
The kicker's been doing well. Defense has been doing piss poor. All right. They have given up the 11th most passing yards in the league. They've given up the most passing touchdowns. They're middle of the pack in the rushing game, but this is the thing that got me is they have the highest rate of offensive drives ending in a score at 62.5%. That is a half point better than the Panthers right now, who are winless.
I just I just don't know. I think you don't know what you're gonna see from Cincinnati in any given week. I think that 7.5 is too big of
That's
a
what I'm
spread for
saying.
that football team right now.
That's what I'm saying.
All
I
I'm
like-
thinking is,
I think the
did-
Commanders might surprise people
I
this
think
weekend.
I think that they're definitely gonna cover. I think that they could win this football game.
I agree.
the real question is, if the Commanders win this game, did the Patriots beat the Bengals down so bad in week 1 that we ended their season in week 1? You know, that's what I'm going to look back on if they just end up crumbling. But I agree with what everybody's saying here. I'm big on the Commanders. The only part that scares me is they can't find their way into the end zone, but they did win a game without doing that last week. You never know. You never know. I don't know.
But they give up 3 touchdowns and they scored no touchdowns and they won.
Yeah, because the
It's
Giants
pretty impressive.
They're Giants. I was listening to Rich Eisen yesterday, and he was like, the Giants knew their kicker was questionable, and they had 52 guys on the roster, and they brought in a different guy rather than a backup kicker, and then your kicker got hurt on the opening kickoff. Brian Dable, what are you doing? Just hate it. Just hate it.
Did you see the interaction that he had with the reporter after the game when he was talking about it?
Honestly, no. I just have to give.
He was basically, the reporter was basically like, hey, so do you think having your kicker with a was it a hamstring injury and then a groin injury?
Hamstring or groin, something in there.
It was something.
Injury.
I think it was a groin injury, and the reporter was basically like, so coach, can you talk about your decision to put the kicker out there when he was having a groin injury and then he suffers a hamstring injury to take him out of the game. And then Brian Dable was basically just like, yeah, it happens all the time. Injuries happen. And then the reporter was like, so can you, he was basically like, so can you go on record saying that you don't think that having a groin injury can result in any other kind of injury? It was just funny. It was an entertaining. It was an entertaining.
It was a bad day to be a headset when the Commanders kicked that field goal for the win. That headset got spiked.
Dude spiked it hard.
I would have done the same thing, but at the end of the day, it's kind of on him. Well, self-reflection can help some people in this league, I feel like, and Bengals got to be looking at themselves in the mirror as well, as far as who are we going to be? Because like if you go 0-3, hypothetically, that's not like they've been 0-2 multiple times the last 3 years of Joe Burrow.
It does feel like they do this every year, though.
The last 3 years they have. Like,
yeah.
Like I get that, but like you go to 0-3, and I feel like that's a harder hole to start climbing yourself out. Like, I don't know. Then this whole like it is a lot of drama. You got Jamar Chase being Odell Beckham. You got T. Higgins being hurt all the time, like Jarvis Landry. I don't know. It's just, it's crazy.
So what I'm hearing is Zach Ertz over.
Thought about picking him up on the waiver wire too.
Who's over?
Oh wait, no, Zach Ertz is a commander. I'm all over the place.
Zach Ertz is a commander?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I keep thinking he's a Bengal for some reason. Yeah, I think that the Bengals just might. I don't know why I want them to stink. I think they stink.
I would hate it for Joe Burrow because I do like Joe Burrow.
Also, did you see the video? That guy could barely pick up a water bottle during the Patriots game.
That was way blown out of proportion.
Was it blown over?
Is
his hand hurt or is it not hurt?
That was way blown out.
Can we blame the season on Joe Burrow's bad hand or not?
Dalton, I know you didn't watch the Chiefs and Bengals game, but he made sure he had a locked wrist on that one. He fixed it week 2. He was
perfect.
Ready. He was ready to go. I think mentally, week 1, he was just kind of broken from that Patriots defense.
Also, give me the Brian Robinson over in that game. I love Brian Robinson.
Man.
Vikings played that in the locker room after, which is crazy.
All right, ladies, we got anything else?
Niners are going to beat the Rams by a lot of points.
That Rams team is in shambles.
Absolute
shambles as far as what is available to them.
So
they might lose by 100.
So I think they're down. They were down to their 3rd string left tackle last week.
Yep.
They have I think 3 offensive linemen on IR right now. Puka Nakua got hurt week 1. Cooper Cup got put on IR last week. Today or yesterday, sometime.
I think yesterday.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're in shambles right now. But
Shambles.
the thing with that Sean McVay system, most of those injuries have come on offense. That system is built to plug and play. Same one that they have over in San Francisco. Same thing. You think anyone else besides a Shanahan tree could take the last pick in the NFL draft and make him an MVP candidate?
Depends if they have Brock Purdy or not.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm really not worried about the Rams team. Defense might be a little suspect, but that offense should be fine. As long as Sean McVay is there, I think they're going to be fine.
Well, yeah, you can
And
plug
Matthew
and
Stafford's
play.
still there. What are we talking about?
Yeah, you can plug and play, but losing Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup,
No, I mean those are two serious injuries.
like the guys that are in their positions are still gonna have a good game, get a lot of balls. They're not doing the same thing. So
No, they're not doing the same things, but it's the drop off comparatively to what other teams might experience. I think
no,
the drop off
that's
might,
true.
You know what I'm saying? You know
Yeah,
I'm
I get
trying
what
to
you're
say?
saying.
Yeah. So
Ravens are also trying to avoid going 0-3 in Dallas.
yes.
I don't think there's a game that surprised me as much as the Raiders beating the Ravens this weekend.
You know why they beat them?
Because Gardner Minshew's slinging that
Gardner
thing.
Minshew.
No, because number 8 on the Baltimore Ravens is overrated as hell. That guy stinks.
What's up with you guys and hating on 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league today? He's
Who
a
did I hate
2-10
on?
MVP, Noah. What do you want?
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes.
Him
You
to be
said
able to
Pat
throw
Mahomes
the
was
ball.
best quarterback in the
Him to be
league.
able to throw the ball is what I would like to see. When they win the Chiefs game twice if he throws a good football to Zay Flowers. Like the guy can't gosh, it's like watching Troy Anderson play quarterback for the Bobcats back in the day in a 2-minute drill. You knew they weren't going to get the job done because they can't throw it. It's the same thing. It was a Hail Mary attempt and they ran it instead of throwing it.
They did do that.
And then
Kind of funny.
And then he didn't use his athleticism to try to juke if he jukes, if you watch it, there's one guy, he jukes him and goes that way, he might score.
It felt like when he was gaining
5
speed.
yards.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It
That
felt
guy
like there was a way that Lamar Jackson could have gotten so many more yards on that play.
I agree. I think he could have scored on that play.
And then it just went playground football.
And it's
No.
just I am so anti Lamar. You have no idea. I drafted him on my fantasy team so he would be a bum.
Would you rather have?
That's what happens to my team.
Would you rather have Lamar Jackson?
You know what his
or
answer
Jacoby
is going to
Brissett?
be, AJ.
I just want to hear him say it. I want to hear him say it on record.
Give me Jacoby Brissett.
Jesus Christ!
Who throws a better football? Jacoby Brissett.
You guys are absurd.
We have a worse tight end.
We would never.
Are we
We have
ending
a
the pod
worse
on
tight
that?
end in Hunter
we
Henry than
ending the
Mark
pod on it?
Andrews, and we are just. I got 2 things we can end it on. One being, the Chargers are an underdog going into Pittsburgh next week. That seems like a sick joke.
Do you know how
Hand
much
the
the ball
Chargers.
is going to get ran in that game?
The under set at 35.5, and I'm thinking under. So there's that, and then oh, AJ, you're not gonna like this. Okay, part 2, over or under half a girl punted by Kareem Hunt this football season.
Statistically, a guy's got to take the over.
I think so. See you guys next week.
See y'all next week. Have a good time.